ever wish your day wasn't dictated by your health? Are you tired of being tired all the time, or is pain holding you back from enjoying your time with your family? Would you like to manage your symptoms holistically, but you just don't know where to begin? I am so excited that you're here. This podcast will help you understand how natural remedies work so you can relieve your symptoms and live a fuller life. My name is Penny. I'm an occupational therapist, past pharmaceutical rep, a mom, and a wife with a strong faith, and for 25 years, I battled through debilitating Crohn's disease. I took all the medicine and did all the surgeries that stole so much time with my family, but never truly healed me. I finally realized if I was going to survive this disease, I needed to open my stubborn eyes to alternative solutions. I researched how perfectly our bodies work with plants and a lifestyle that made my health less of a burden to my family and aligned so beautifully with my faith and my medical training. If you are ready to reclaim your life with holistic options that are easy to implement as a busy mom and provide relief that lasts, this is the podcast for you. Hey y'all, real quick before we jump in, if this podcast has ever made you laugh, nod your head, or pause and go, whoa, would you do me a quick favor beyond sharing your favorite episode with a friend and leave a short review? It doesn't have to be fancy. And I know you probably hear that a lot, but for me, since I do no advertising, it seriously makes my day, and it makes a huge difference in Becoming Natural's visibility for those who need to hear about the amazing connection between our bodies, the earth, and God's design. It only takes a second, and it helps more amazing women find this space. Thank you so very much. All right, let's get to the good stuff. Hello. Welcome to Becoming Natural. This is your host, Penny Sampler, and I am so excited about this episode. This episode went down so many rabbit holes that are going to spawn so many podcasts just from this episode that I am skipping the review and I'm going to dive right into it. And I am so excited. I have so many notes and side tracks here that I'm going to take. I hope I can squeeze it all into the right amount of time to hold your attention, but there's so much fun stuff that came out of this. So episode number 39 is the importance, hidden dangers of looming antibacterial overload. So Becoming Natural is where we talk about real healing, real faith, and the crazy, wonderful mess of becoming whole in a world that is now constantly trying to sterilize everything. So let me just ask, do you remember a time when dirt was just dirt? I mean, when I was a child, I played in the mud. We had mud pies. I was barefoot all day long playing in the soil and the grass, and I lived outside. Somewhere between childhood and now, we have had an antibacterial craze that hit like a Lysol tsunami, and we actually used to trust our bodies to handle life. But now you can't walk into a grocery store or a Walmart without seeing kills 99.9% of germs plastered across everything from wipes to toothpaste to deodorant. And I get it. We don't want germs. And some people like to carry, antibacterial gel in their diaper bag or their purse or their cup holder. And we all want to do what's best for our kiddos. Of course, anybody, we would all die for our kiddos. I'm guilty of sometimes sanitizing shopping cart handles. And I think I Lysoled my groceries exactly one time in 2020. And I said that was for the birds. But I admittedly have a life experience that is unique, and one that while I was following all the rules in the depths of severe, very severe autoimmune disease, took a very powerful drug that removed my immune system. Take note, it was treating the symptom and not the root cause. But I didn't do it without tears. It was the third time that it was encouraged to me that I finally said, okay, and I literally had to sign on a dotted line saying that it was okay if I got 15 different types of cancer or hundreds of unknown side effects, and like all pharma commercials, even the risk of death. I folded because I had done everything I could possibly do short of removing my stomach, and that option seemed horrific at the time. To me, even the slightest relief from pain would be beneficial, but it is such a vital part of my story. It sucked not having an immune system. I didn't necessarily get back-to-back colds. I got weird things I couldn't prevent, like cysts and bleeding gums that I've told you, and abdominal pain in new locations and weird skin things. And the ultimate demise was that I got pneumonia, twice hospitalized, and I was no more than 35 years old. After that, I worked diligently to do the opposite. They took me off that drug because you can't be hospitalized for pneumonia twice at 35. I worked so hard to build my immune system back. I was proud of I was so excited when I would get sick. I know that's terrible, but I was like, badge of honor, I have more immunity. Your immune system was not the root of the issue if you have autoimmune disease. Remember that. Yes, it is fighting itself, but I finally had one doctor ask me, why? Why do you have Crohn's disease? Every other doctor stopped at, I have Crohn's disease. And she dared to ask me why. I had no idea. I'd never thought that far before. I thought that's where it stopped. So here's what I've learned. When you kill off all the bacteria, you kill off the good guys too. And it turns out we need those good guys more than we thought. Bacteria is not wholly bad. And I want to reflect back on the fact that I welcome germs. I have a very dear friend who I love and respect greatly who pointed out to me one time that my life story is different. And I know it is, and I'm very aware of that. And so it's created in me probably a lack of fear of a lot of things, a lack of fear of germs, for one, because I was so excited to start building back my immune system because I felt so incredibly horrible not having an immune system that I count it a wonderful like badge and jewel in my crown, whatever, however you want to count them, that I get any sort of germ so that I can build my immunity back to where I'm strong. So we're going to talk about what antibacterial products are and where did all of this begin, because it wasn't like this when I was little. But antibacterial products are exactly what they sound like. They are designed to kill bacteria, which sounds great, right? Bacteria equals bad. Kill them all. Easy. Except, much like antibiotics do, but not all bacteria are bad. In fact, less than 1% of all bacteria actually make us sick. I'm going to repeat that. Less than 1% of all bacteria actually make us sick. The rest are essential. They are essential for our bodies. We're talking immune regulation, hormone production, digestion, even our mood. Hello, gut-brain connection. We talked about that last week with probiotics. So where did this obsession come from? The first antibacterial chemical that was made was called triclosan. And we talked about this actually in the deodorant episode, and it hit the market in the 70s. Now it's in antibacterial soaps, toothpaste, mouthwash, deodorants, cleaning products, even some clothing, kitchenware, and toys. It actually was originally developed for use in hospital surgical scrubs, which totally makes sense. Open body cavities, of course, sterility is life-saving. But when it jumped into everyday products like hand soap and dish detergent, that's where things got dicey. We first mentioned it in Becoming Natural when we talked about deodorant, like I said in that episode. But triclosan is a synthetic compound, meaning it's man-made, not God-made. And initially we used it to fight odor. But by the 90s, it exploded. It was in all of those products I mentioned above. We were putting it in our body washes, on our cutting boards, even in kids' toys. And anything that could be labeled antibacterial suddenly became the sign of safety. It's harder for the body and the environment to break down. Hence, it's called bioaccumulation. That means it doesn't just go after bad bacteria. It can go after good bacteria too, and then it hangs around in the body and it accumulates. It accumulates through our body to where it's been showing up in studies in urine, blood, and even breast milk studies. It's bad stuff. So in 2016, the FDA banned triclosan and over-the-counter soaps. Why? Because there was no clear evidence that it worked better than plain soap and water. And there were mounting concerns about hormone disruption and antibiotic resistance, environmental impact, and skin irritation and allergies. But guess what? Outside of hand soap, the marketing machine didn't get the memo. And fear sells, especially when you're a parent. I am right there with you. Fear sells. Just like I said, you're going to do whatever you want for your child. So our culture has become one of germophobia. We have become a culture obsessed with clean, but not the kind of clean our grandmothers meant. Sterile, sanitized, scrubbed raw. The average American household now has more antimicrobial cleaning agents than ever before. But guess what? Studies show that families who use these products don't have fewer illnesses. In fact, they often see more allergies, more asthma, more autoimmune diseases. That's from a journal of antimicrobial chemotherapy. I'll link all these things up in the show notes. But the hyper-clean lifestyle has a name. It's called the hygiene hypothesis. It was first proposed in 1989. It basically says that when we're too clean, our immune systems don't learn how to function. Kids raised in sterile environments tend to have higher rates of eczema, asthma, food allergies, autoimmune disease, and you know what? That tracks. We're designed to interact with the natural world, not hide from it. So when are antibacterials actually helpful? So of course, they're helpful. There is a time and a place for a sterile environment. When you're in surgery, 100%. The goal is zero bacteria because you're dealing with an open access to the inside of your body, sacred place. We don't want pathogens in there. But here's the thing. Sterility saves lives in the operating room, not in your living room. There are times when antibacterial agents are necessary, like after surgery or before surgery, when they prep your skin, caring for immunocompromised loved ones, friends, food safety in certain situations, like raw chicken juice on the counter. Heck yes, girl, clean that. But those are targeted uses, not every day, every surface, every minute saturation. When we apply surgical grade sanitation to everyday life, kitchen counters, kids' toys, our skin, we are playing a game of overkill, and our microbiomes are actually paying the price. We are harming ourselves by being too clean. Who would have ever thought that? So what happens when we actually overuse our antibacterials? Here's where it gets real. Number one, we destroy our microbiome. Our skin, our mouth, and our gut are lined with good bacteria. Our first responders to illness, inflammation, even our mood shifts, like we talked about last week. When we over-sanitize, we wipe out our team. We wipe out our protectors. Those are the first places that germs hit, and that's our protection. Number two, we fuel antibiotic resistance. And I don't know if everyone talks about this, but I work in a hospital, so it's always the topic of discussion, but all these huge new antibiotic resistant strains of illness that we're having. Triclosan and other agents like it don't just kill bugs, they actually train the survivors to be stronger, to be superbugs that no longer respond to medication. The World Health Organization has declared antimicrobial resistance as one of the top 10 global health threats. Number three, we mess with our hormones. Triclosan is a known endocrine disruptor. It mimics hormones like estrogen, and it interferes with our thyroid signaling. That's environmental health perspectives. And number four, we pollute the planet. So if none of those other three things bothered you and the planet does, these chemicals don't just disappear when they go down the drain. They accumulate in our waterways, and they affect our marine life, and they even show up in our drinking water when we let them go down the drain. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. That's from 1 Corinthians 10:23, and I stuck that in there, and it's kind of probably taking out of context, but it's talking about the Israelites, and it was talking about how, you can do it, but if it's not good for you, then don't do it. Like, you have the freedom to do things, but you also still need to make good choices. So sometimes we can do it. Should we do it? So dirt, soil, and God's design for our immune system. This is my favorite part. So we're not just talking about avoiding the bad. We're talking about restoring the good. God didn't design our bodies to be afraid of bacteria. He designed us to work with the bacteria. He gave us bacteria in our soil. He gave us bacteria. He made us, and he made the world, and he said everything was good. So in fact, studies show that exposure to soil-based organisms, we talked about that briefly last week, SBOs, they actually improve our immune function, and they reduce inflammation. Can you believe that? So if you stick your hands in the dirt, if you work in the soil, if you work outside, fancy that, you're going to get these soil-based organisms that are actually really good for you. One microbe called Mycobacterium vaccae, VACCAE, found in the soil was shown to improve mood and decrease anxiety. So I actually looked this up. Shoot, you should have had it pulled up here a lot faster, but what is this microbacterium? You usually find it in healthy organic soil, in compost around the roots of plants and trees. When we garden, dig, breathe in dust, or even get a little messy, we're exposed to this microbe, and it may actually help us feel better emotionally and function better cognitively. Amazing. Why is it so special? So the sciencey piece that I loved, it's a natural antidepressant because it showed in mice that it boosted their serotonin levels, it reduced anxiety-like behavior, and it worked similarly like antidepressants, like name brand antidepressants, but without the pharmaceutical side effects. Research believed that this Mycobacterium vaccae may stimulate brain function through the vagus nerve or help calm inflammation that disrupts mood. It gives you a cognitive boost. It has anti-inflammatory power. I mean, I could go on and do an entire episode about this, but just go outside, go dig in the garden, walk barefoot in the grass. And I will tell you that after I did this episode, I took my dog on a walk, and the dog was walking, and I took my shoes off and started walking in the grass. It felt so good. So when kids play in the dirt and their immune systems they learn how to fight their own battle. It's like practice drills for the real world. And let's talk about the garden for the second. Genesis 2:7, the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground. We were made out of that dirt. We were made out of it. So it wasn't just poetic, it was biological that we are connected to the earth. We are connected to the ground. And that gets me so excited to think about. We are quite literally made from dirt, and we're meant to live in communion with it, not behind a sanitized screen from dirt. So let those kids eat dirt. Unless, of course, you've dumped a whole bunch of fertilizer and weed protection on it. We don't want that. But there are such things as natural antibacterial solutions that do not harm the microbiome in your body and that are actually good to your body. So you don't really need to live in fear of these items. You can use things that are natural, and you don't have to douse your home in chemicals. Instead, try things like essential oils. Specifically, I am a huge fan of tea tree oil. I use tea tree oil for so many things, and my husband loves bleach. I'm training him out of that. But when he smells bleach, he thinks, oh, it smells great. It smells clean. I smell bleach and I have a coughing attack. I smell tea tree oil and I'm like, oh, it smells clean. It's so good, and it's anti-inflammatory as well. You can put tea tree oil on your skin for mosquito bites, and you can clean your house with it. It's so many versatile ways to use it. Other essential oils that are antimicrobial is oregano, eucalyptus, lavender. There's a list of them. This one was fun. Raw honey is a natural antimicrobial, especially Manuka honey. How about that? Apple cider vinegar, I'm a huge fan. It's great for cleaning. It's in fact fantastic for digestion. It's also great for your body and your skin. Coconut oil, antimicrobial. It contains lauric acid, which is a natural antimicrobial. And guess what? This is where we went down another rabbit hole, which could be an entire podcast episode. Sunlight and air. And I just kind of Googled, why is sunlight antimicrobial? What is in it? Is it the heat? Is it what? It's nature's original disinfectant. So UVB and UVA rays that actually do reach the earth, because they don't all reach the earth, but they can damage the DNA and RNA of bacteria, of viruses, of fungi. They basically scramble their ability to replicate. That's why many hospital labs use, guess what? UV light sterilizers to clean their rooms and their tools. We had UV light cleaner on our pool when we lived in Houston. It cleaned our water without the chlorine. It was amazing. So sunlight, actually, the sunlight photons create, it's called reactive oxygen species, ROS. A little bit more down the rabbit hole, but when sunlight hits surfaces, especially surfaces that have moisture or organic matter, it can basically trigger the formation of these reactive oxygen species, and it kills them, and it dries things out that are moist or wet, and it prevents the replication of the bad bacteria. So you could easily make a natural cleaning spray at home with a cup of water, a cup of vinegar, 10 drops of tea tree oil or lavender oil if you like that better, and even more if you wanted to optionally add witch hazel, another wonderful cleaning agent. So what should you do? You need to ditch a couple things in your house. Don't be so clean. Let it be dirty. Let there be dirt. Number one, get rid of all your antimicrobial soaps. I did that a long time ago, and just get regular soap. It works better. It works the same. You're not too clean. We don't want to be too clean here. You can replace it with Castile or goat milk soap. We use that. Remember, go back to that Yucca app that I talk about. That's how I got to my goat milk soap. I use that all the time. Get rid of wipes with fragrances or triclosan. Yep, triclosan is still in wipes that you are putting on your babies. Make wipes out of water. I had a friend who made her own wipes out of paper towels, and I thought she was a crazy hippie back then. I was still taking all the things. Now I wish I had followed in her footsteps. But use a microfiber cloth, anything that you want to use to clean, but just don't use it with triclosan. Get rid of your sanitizing spray. Use vinegar-based or essential oil sprays. They do the same thing. I even told you about silver, that you can spray silver and water on your countertop, and it will take care of cleaning your countertops. For sure, get rid of your antibacterial toothpaste and switch those out with charcoal or clay-based paste. And you can go back to the toothpaste podcast, and I linked up several of my favorite toothpaste that actually not only don't have antibacterial things in them, but it also doesn't have fluoride, and they're still good for your teeth. So remember, this is a lot of information. You don't have to switch everything overnight. Just pick one, go slowly, then pick another. And as I do it, I just replace things with a good thing. I finish the product that I have, and then when it's time to replace, I replace. So the big question that I had was, can you overdo it with even these natural antibacterial products? 100%. You totally can. Your microbiome still needs protection. So even natural antibacterials like tea tree oil, oregano oil, silver, they kill bacteria, but that also includes some of the good guys if you use them too frequently or in the wrong way. Natural doesn't always mean neutral. Also, balance over bombing. The goal isn't to nuke everything harmful. It's to restore balance, to partner with your body, not micromanage it. So we have to change our way of thinking. We do not want to be 99.9% bacteria free. We want the good bacteria. Essential oils, for example, are incredibly powerful, but one drop of oregano oil is like the Navy SEAL of a plant medicine. It's huge. In fact, my son is diffusing it right now because he started feeling sick. So we always put oregano oil in his diffuser. But it's not something that you want to be using every single day or swallowing for prevention every day, like a multivitamin. That kind of overuse can lead to your gut imbalance, to more skin irritation, or even bacterial resistance over time. The same negative effects if you're using these other chemically made up synthetic chemicals for antibacterial items. But they're just way better for your home, for your house, and ingestion. Just think about what you put on your counter. You eat what's on your counter. So if you've got triclosan that you're wiping on your counter, or you're washing your dishes with detergent, and then you're eating off that dish with triclosan on it. I mean, you can really go down the rabbit hole on this. So anyway, you can harm your healthy flora and cause toxic buildup, even with natural antimicrobials. Our bodies were designed to coexist with microbes. I'm going to say it louder for the person in the back. Our bodies were designed to coexist with microbes. Again, we do not need to be 99.9% microbe free. The goal is not to sterilize us. It is to support our bodies. Genesis 1:31 says, God saw all that he had made, and he said it was very good. That includes the invisible world of bacteria. He made bacteria, and they help regulate us. Bacteria helps regulate inflammation, produce vitamins in our body, and as I said before, calms our nervous system. When we overclean, even with clean products, we can unintentionally disrupt that partnership that we have with our bodies. So what do we do instead? Number one, rotate your natural antibacterials. Don't use the same thing every single day. Use them for support, not for surveillance. No red lights, wah, 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 if you didn't clean every single surface with bleach. Or don't treat every sniffle. Y'all, our body is healing. It's created to heal. So stick with soap and water. When no infection is present, it's still incredibly effective. Just soap and water. Strengthen your terrain. Feed the good bacteria through food, rest, sunlight. Open up those windows. Go outside, walk in the dirt, embrace the sunlight. And I think the most beautiful thing that I've learned in this process is that feeling of our hands in the dirt and that feeling of the sun on our face. And we all know how good that feels to walk outside. That is not just a feeling. That is biological. That is our serotonin level. That is our serotonin level increasing and making us feel good. So yes, even God-given tools require wisdom. But the beautiful thing is when we slow down, we listen to our bodies and we trust what he built into creation and our bodies, we start partnering with healing instead of panicking and going into fear about perfection, about cleanliness, about germs, how terrible they are. Germs are not all bad. Remember that? Less than 1% of germs are bad for us. Less than 1%. So support your body's natural germ defense. Let your kids play in the garden. Dirt is not the enemy. Eat fermented foods, sauerkraut, kefir, kombucha. Include prebiotics. Ding, ding, ding. Remember that for last week. Garlic, onions, bananas. Get daily sunlight. If you have to set your alarm, I know like today, especially, I was doing something good. I'm sitting here researching all about all of these things. And I realized I had been like nose to the grindstone for 5 hours and I had to get out and just go walk the dog. And that's when I got my feet in the soil and the sun was beautiful. It was a beautiful day. You can be doing good things and you lose track of time. So maybe like me, I need to set my alarm to say, go outside, go look at the sun, go put your feet in the soil. Maybe you need that reminder too. It's our phones are handy in many ways. They're handy. So Jeremiah 30:17, I really liked this verse, but I will restore you to health and heal your wounds, declares the Lord. Once again, over and over and over in scripture, it tells us that our bodies are created to heal. That's how he designed us. God is in the restoration business, and you are never too far gone. That includes your gut. That includes your skin. That includes your cells, down to the little bitty microcosm of your cells, your whole being. You are created to heal. So what's the takeaway? You don't have to fear bacteria. You don't have to sanitize your story, good or bad, including mine. Your story is what makes who you are, and we are called to share our stories so that we can help other people. You definitely don't need to bleach everything in your house to keep your family safe. Start small, but start now. And I will come up with a checklist. I will come up with all these things that I have. I still have a whole other page that I didn't even talk about, just all the common products that contain triclosan. But the biggest things that you need to look out for are your toothpaste, your hand soaps and body washes, your deodorants, your mouthwashes, holy Hannah, your makeup and cosmetics, shaving creams, cleaning products, kitchenware, cutting boards. They're putting coatings on all of the things that we cook with. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. But antimicrobial coatings prevent odor or bacteria. Think about your gym bags, your yoga mat. Hello, you're trying to get healthy and you're laying on triclosan. Baby toys? No way. Yes, way. Socks labeled odor control. Pet products, your babies. There's odor-resistant beds and bowls and toys. Literally, they're making it so painful for us to get healthy. But the one thing I wanted to call attention to is how do you spot it on labels? Because we're onto them. Because triclosan has been outlawed by hand soaps, they changed the name and they changed the labels, but it can be identified as triclosan, microban, ergosan, DP300. That's a less commonly used name. Anything that sounds like antibacterial protection that's not your tea tree oil or something that you can pronounce, you don't want it. So join me in taking one step at a time, one product at a time, and replacing it with something good. Because if you replace one product at a time, eventually, somewhere down the line, you're going to have a completely clean house and a completely clean body. But even if you never make it to perfection, you're one step closer and your body is one step cleaner than it was today if you start tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. There are so many more rabbit holes that are going to come from this, I promise. Have a good one. And hey, if this episode helped you feel less overwhelmed and possibly more equipped, would you do me a favor and share it with one of your friends? Share it with someone who you think needs to hear more about antibacterial anything. It seriously makes my day that I can help other mamas, other friends find this space and help us all kind of come together in our own community, taking one step at a time, one foot forward. So keep seeking truth that heals, my friend. Continue to becoming natural. God is not done with your story, not by a long shot. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you've enjoyed today's episode, hit that follow button, leave a 5-star review if you're so willing, and help spread the message of becoming natural by sharing it with a friend. Check out the resources in the show notes and join the email list to stay on top of all the latest and greatest happenings at Becoming Natural as we roll out exciting new things while we grow. Until next time, take those baby steps to a more natural life and always give yourself grace. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. See you next week.